Okay, mic check. I am live. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're near the halfway mark. This is week 7 of the 16-week semester. Uh, for my BIO201 class, particularly my online class where I go over some of the announcements, review. Week 7 theme here is histology and the integumentary system. So we're looking at the histology, chapter 4, the integumentary system, chapter 5, and really getting into some of that good stuff here because we have an exam the end of this week here, ladies and gentlemen. Do a couple things here. Uh, we have an exam where we're going to go over the histology, the integumentary system. I got a couple slides kind of giving you a couple of review here or what to expect on the exam. Remember that chapter 4, we looked at histology, the 4 different types of tissues, whether it's epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscle tissue, or nervous tissue. So you'll see that we're going to have 2 parts to this exam. You're going to have a practical exam, which is part number 2, where you're going to have a number of different pictures. And then in the chapter 5, we talked much about the integumentary system. Now here's the meat of today's talk is the exam, and really what we're going to do is we're going to break it up into 2 parts. I got to kind of amend this, right? Let me fix this right here for us. We're going to break it up into 2 parts. The first part will be multiple choice, multiple answers, the traditional questions. Right, it'll be histology and the integumentary system. Just keep it brief there. Oh, lost my page there. There it is. So part 1 is going to be 60 questions. You'll have 60 multiple choice questions. Each of those questions will be worth 1.25 points each, and so that will result in a 75 points for the first part of that practical, right? So the first part of the exam. We won't call it a practical. It'll be open up on Thursday, so it'll be due on Sunday. It'll open up on Thursday. At midnight or Thursday like morning, I guess, right? And it will again close on Sunday, so you'll see that coming up and published. The second half of that exam here is what we might call the practical, right? The practical is going to have a lot of pictures that you're going to be asked to identify, whether it's different layers of skin or perhaps different structures associated with histology, right? We'll be asked to identify different histological features. And so that one will have 40 picture questions, right? Histology, integumentary system, 40 picture questions. You will have 90 minutes as well, I think. Let me double check that. It is 90 minutes to complete that exam. And the combined, right? The combined exam will be 125 points. So our previous exam, I think, was about 100 points. This next one's going to be, the next one after this will be 150. That'll be the maximum amount of points that I'll assign for an exam. But this one's kind of amping up us to 125, bringing us right to that level there. So again, they are published. They are live. Take a look at your Chapter 4 material. Take a look at your Chapter 5 material. This is the stuff that we're going to be looking at as it relates to the histology and the integumentary system. And I didn't put up and then the lab assignment. So you guys are working on the lab assignment, which the lab assignment here is the grand round. So again, it looks pretty good here. What we have, each of you will work in a group, but let me go to it and give you the. Each of you will work in a group, but I want you to paste. You're more than welcome to work in groups, but I want you to report your answers independently. So again, primarily use the textbook as your primary resource, and then these additional resources are for you guys as helpful, right, as needed. You'll answer the questions right here in the link. And it doesn't have to be any formal format, just a couple of sentences to answer each of these questions. So if it's burns, these 8 questions here to help us just identify the topic related to burns. You will see a couple of these questions here in your exam. So again, I hopefully that you'll be able to take a look at this discussion board a couple of times before you take the exam, because many of these questions may come up as it relates to the different injuries associated with the integumentary system. And again, doesn't have to be real complex. Just basically give me a couple of sentences to answer each of those questions that you get associated with any of those injuries. So I look forward to seeing your guys' responses with that. And next week we'll be looking at the skeletal system. So we'll kind of take a turn to the next chapter where we'll look at chapters 6, 7, and 8. We'll be looking at bone and the skeletal system. So stay tuned for that. But for now, we're just going to wrap up our section here on the integumentary system. We'll progress there, and after the weekend, I'll start posting some new material as it relates to the bones and skeletal system. So stay tuned there, as you can see that in the future. But until then, stay tuned. You guys are doing great. Keep up the hard work, and I look forward to seeing all your responses throughout the semester. Thanks, and have a great one.